Now we want to head back live to City Hall,
where officials are unveiling a new plan to stop violent crimes in Milwaukee. We're going to listen in.
And the City of Milwaukee that goes into the details of that memorandum. It's fair to say that all of us agree that the level of violence in the City of Milwaukee, in particular gun violence, is unacceptable. I feel that the citizens of the city feel the same way, and it's important for all of us to be working together to do what we can to reduce violence. At our last meeting in April, the Attorney General said that he would work with the Joint Finance Committee of the state legislature to secure additional funding for district attorneys, for Attorney Generals, Assistant Attorney Generals, who would be assigned to work with District Attorney John Chisholm's office here in the City of Milwaukee. We, the police department in the City of Milwaukee, also agreed that we would have investigators and detectives who would work very closely with this unit so that we could bring more charges to those individuals who unlawfully use guns in the commission of crimes in the City of Milwaukee and Milwaukee County. I spoke earlier this afternoon and this morning as well with soon-to-be Chief Judge Maxine White, who said that she was working with us and is working with us to make sure that we have a court that will be committed to having these charges brought before them. And if there's a need for an additional court, we're going to be working with her for that as well. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to first thank the Attorney General for his cooperation in working with us. And I'm going to ask him to detail his role in this and what's going to happen. Following the Attorney General, we'll hear from the District Attorney. Then we'll hear from Milwaukee Chief Ed Flynn. And finally from U.S. Attorney James Santel, because they're an important partner in this as well. Again, Attorney General, thank you very much for working with us, and I'll turn it over to you.
Today we declare war on those who would commit crimes with guns in Milwaukee. Our hearts go out to the families of the victims and to all of those people who don't feel safe in their neighborhoods because of this problem. And it is with them in mind that we have all agreed to not only commit new resources, but to redirect and reprioritize our existing resources to address this problem. Milwaukee is the state's largest economic engine, but more importantly, it is the home to tens of thousands of families that just deserve a safe community. Governor Walker and leaders in the legislature, particularly Senate Majority Leader Fitzgerald, recognized this as well and committed state resources to aid in the solution to this problem. Political differences can be very dramatic in Wisconsin these days, but on this issue, we stand united. All of us join together today to confidently say that anyone who uses a gun to commit violence, we will find you, we will arrest you, we will charge you, and we will get you held accountable in court. This is not a war on the good people who go to work every day, try to raise their kids, try to have a safe, clean neighborhood. The neighborhoods belong to them. They have the biggest stake in this, and they have lost far too much already. They have a right to be safe, and with the resources each of us will be bringing to bear to address this problem, we will help them to have the safe neighborhoods they deserve. Under the MOU enacted today between city, county, and state officials, we will each put in place additional resources that will ensure we will catch criminals who use guns and ensure they are successfully prosecuted, punished, and prevented from continuing to terrorize their neighborhoods. Law enforcement officers and prosecutors assigned to the Specialized Gun Crimes Team will conduct swift investigations, expedite the filing of charges, and commence cases with arrest warrants. We will work to keep those individuals in custody. We will file speedy trial demands to send a clear message that justice will be swift and certain. Many of the gun offenders are on some type of probation or parole supervision. The Department of Corrections will be dramatically increasing residence and bar checks on those who pose risks to commit gun offenses. The Milwaukee Police Department will work closely with DOC to make sure those individuals are taken into custody quickly. And if they have violated their rules, we will pursue revocation of their supervision and their return to prison. We will work closely with those in the communities most affected by this problem, so they will know we have their back and we will stand with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief. U.S. Attorney Jim Santel. We go through periods like this in our community. If I took you back 15 years ago, we'd be standing at a similar conference and we'd be talking about the launching of Operation Ceasefire. Why did we do that back then? It's because we were experiencing a problem very similar to what we're experiencing right now, and that's an unacceptable level of gun violence that was being committed by and suffered by primarily young men in our city. And we came together at that point in time and we made a commitment among all the partners that are standing here that we would put a focus on firearm offenders and that we would hold them accountable, whether it was at the local level or at the federal level, and we'd send the strong message to our community that gun violence would not be tolerated. It was successful, and I'm absolutely confident this will be successful. And I'm very grateful for the additional resources that are being brought to bear. A focused effort on firearm offenders has been proven to be effective, particularly when it's coupled with outreach and collaboration with the community. Now, when we launched it 15 years ago, we had nowhere near the capacity of working with the community that we have today. And so as part of this, we're going to continue our outreach with the community. We're going to try to identify those offenders who are a small number but have a disproportionate impact on our community. And we're going to identify them, we are going to remove them from the community, and we're going to see that they have an appropriate period of incapacitation, whether that's at the state level or at the federal level. That's our commitment. As I've said, it's been demonstrated to work again. It was only about 5 years ago that we were talking about record lows in homicides. Well, part of that was the collaboration that has always existed here. But what we have to do is recommit to that, put additional resources into it, make sure that we're communicating with each other on a daily basis, and that we're communicating with the people that live in some of our most challenged neighborhoods to let them know that we are there with them each and every day, and we're going to continue to be with them each and every day. So again, I'm absolutely confident that this will succeed. It's going to take some time. It's going to take investment from the community, but you're going to see immediate results in the short term. Thank you very much.
I'm grateful to the mayor for pulling us all together to have some very frank discussions about how all of us could do better. We're all trying hard. We've all been trying hard. But ultimately, this is about teamwork. Police department has a very significant responsibility here, and that's to identify and arrest offenders for violent crime. But ultimately, all we can do is get the ball in the red zone. Getting it over the goal line requires a close collaboration between the police and all of the available prosecutorial resources. I really am grateful for the Attorney General for dedicating state resources to this, as well as, I might add, some state money for overtime for investigators. I'm also very grateful for the District Attorney. He and the Police Department pioneered the whole idea of community prosecutions, which is close collaborations on community problem solving between police and district attorneys. And I think this new effort, which is a very directed effort to make sure that there is sufficient prosecutorial capacity in a specified venue, a dedicated court, to focus on the myriad of offenders who we arrest for a variety of gun-related crimes, aggravated assaults, robberies, shootings that are retaliatory in nature, arguments and fights that derive from firearms. And one of the things the Attorney General pointed out is with the addition of these resources, if we can't get them for the gun crime, we know who they are, they commit other crimes. The idea is this group of offenders is identifiable because all of our experience indicates at any given time, roughly 10% of the offenders drive 50% of any sort of crime. We've got to focus on the right bad guys. And one thing our sad statistics have told us time and again, 80% of our victims and 85 to 90% of our offenders have criminal records. This is a very tight group of career criminals shooting each other and periodically murdering the innocent by accident or on purpose. But it is a tight group. And this laser-like focus that I know the Attorney General and the District Attorney and the U.S. Attorney who has stepped up and started adopting significant numbers of cases for federal prosecution, that's the step that's got to work. It's one thing to arrest somebody, but if they're back in the community because our case wasn't developed to the satisfaction of the prosecutors, or they were let out on bail, or they're suddenly reappearing in the neighborhood, that is an inducement to not cooperate with investigations. And so again, having every level of prosecution collaborating on the same offenders, focusing in a very tight environment with a court dedicated for that purpose is a significant additional asset to our current efforts to identify and arrest these purveyors of violence on our streets. So I'm grateful for all of them. It's about teamwork. We're part of the team, and we'll do everything we can to make it work.
The Chief has just talked about teamwork, as did the District Attorney, as did the Attorney General, the Mayor, and all of us are here today to reaffirm that fundamental notion that law enforcement, good law enforcement, is premised upon that. In southeastern Wisconsin, throughout the state of Wisconsin, we have long enjoyed a law enforcement group that has worked together collaboratively, thoughtfully, purposefully. We communicate a lot. And the purpose behind today's announcement is to further codify the way in which we do business and move it forward even further. I am here today, although we're not formal signatories to the MOU, likewise to engage with the Attorney General, the Mayor, the DA, the Police Chief, and others in law enforcement to reaffirm the strong support of the U.S. Department of Justice to this effort. We know, as do our partners, that the levels of violence here in Milwaukee and in other major metropolitan cities around the country are simply too high. It is not tolerable for us. It's not tolerable for citizens and the victims of those crimes. The federal government, including the U.S. Department of Justice, is equally committed with our partners in law enforcement and with this community to work on that issue, to address it decisively, to address it aggressively, and to ensure that the community knows that we are also a part of that communicative effort to thoughtfully and purposefully identify, investigate, prosecute, and achieve good justice for the citizens of this state and the city of Milwaukee. Through the FBI, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, Homeland Security, many other federal investigative agencies, we continue to partner with the DCI, with Brad's wonderful law enforcement entities, with the Milwaukee Police Department and the Chief's terrific workers there as well. All of us together partnered in this important effort. We do communicate, we identify, as I said, the perpetrators of this crime, ensure that the proper and appropriate recommendations are made about where prosecutions should take place. Should they occur in the Milwaukee County Circuit Court, other circuit courts around the state of Wisconsin, or should they be brought to the federal courts in Madison and Milwaukee? That is the commitment we make again today. Know that that collaboration continues and that we look forward, as has said the Mayor, the Attorney General, the Police Chief, the DA, that that is a part of our partnered, purposeful initiative today as we go forward and continuing to address our serious violent crime problem here in Wisconsin and in particular here in Milwaukee.